What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros. Good morning and welcome to our Saturday special edition show. We have got a lot to break down in this video. We got some exciting news. We got some news. We're going to be talking about in this video, as the title suggests. Is there a potential chance that this recent rally is going to turn into a bull trap because everyone's anticipating and expecting a massive rally to come as we get closer to halving? However, like we know from other events, sometimes when everyone feels bullish about a certain topic, we oftentimes see it do the exact opposite. Could we see a steep correction, not only in Bitcoin, but the entire crypto space? We do have an analyst predicting that. We're going to break that down and a whole lot more, let you know what we think later on in the video. So don't go anywhere. Also, we have to announce towards the end of the show, I haven't even decided who the winner is. We do have to announce our winner for yesterday's community Blofin giveaway. And I want to let you guys know, it is the top trade we have so far. The winner today is going to receive $50 because we had an 140% trade. You guys gave us the coin. You gave us the leverage. You told us to wait for the rest of the night. And sure enough, our level was hit. We have a $50 trade that one of your lucky winners will win. Real quickly, share my screen here. This is the details, though. You have the rest of the show because we're going to announce the winner at the end. You have the rest of the show to do this. Sign up with our Blofin link down in the description. You guys will see it as you scroll. Join our free Discord, link also in description. Post a photo in Discord general chat on Saturday morning to enter to win. For example, let me show you what that would look like here. It would look a little something like this. A to Ace has already entered, Bedridden's already entered, and so now has Eric Wallen. So we have 3 entries. Join them, and then we will be announcing the winners today, and we will reach out to you with a DM to get the payment information so that we can give you your winnings. As you see in that bottom corner, though, I am joined by the illustrious and amazing T-Shroom from down there in Gainesville, Florida. T-Shroom, how are you feeling today?
Oh, well, Tim, I'm feeling way more delicious than I deserve this morning because
delicious.
me and Amanda, we jetted out to Wendy's.
Okay.
And we got a yummy little breakfast chicken biscuit, and it was good. And it's just sitting so well. It hit the spot, so I'm feeling energized. I'm feeling fueled for the stream, Tim. And I do have a quote of the day here from none other than Chad Kroeger, the lead singer of Nickelback. He said, it's never too late to shoot for the stars regardless of who you are. There he is.
Wow.
Look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. It's true. It's very true. They get such a bad rap. I never understood why people hated them as much. I'm not saying that they're like my favorite band in the world, but they're okay. Like, they're not bad. I've heard a lot worse out there. What do you think?
Okay.
Are you a fan? Are you one of the haters?
We can discuss that a little more. The Nickelback theme is far from over. Today is going to be saturated with Nickelback references.
Are you serious?
And It's going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a lot of fun for sure. But
shout out to Redman, who just renewed as a member, as a bro.
Let's go.
He's got a yellow badge, so good to see it there. Well, yes, yellow new. I always forget. No, green is new. So yellow means he's been here for at least a whole month. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Redman, for the support. Sorry, T-shirt. Didn't mean to cut you off, but we don't miss super chats and we don't miss when people join as a membership. So
for sure. No, I mean, all I was going to say is I'm going to withhold my final opinion on Nickelback until the end of the show.
Okay, so you will reveal your true opinions.
This isn't something I can do lightly, Tim. I have to really wait it out, really kind of marinate and see if it feels right to reveal to the audience my true standing on Nickelback.
Okay. All right. Well, then you heard it right there. If there's no other reason to wait till the end of the show, it's to hear about T-Shroom's opinion of Nickelback. Let's do a market open real quick. We'll do any breaking news you guys need to be aware of, and then we'll get into some charts and into some of those discussions, talking about the potential bull trap coming in. Now, today, slightly green. Yesterday, of course, was a little bit red, but we're waking up this morning. Bitcoin not up quite 1% on the 24-hour, but it is green nonetheless. Ethereum up 1.5. BNB continuing to make some moves. Let's check on that chart real quick, because there's been days where everything else is red and BNB is doing well. Yeah, so BNB on a little bit of a move. Now, I'm just looking here for speed. I could have gone over, I guess it'd be better to look over here, wouldn't it? Where am I, BNB? There we go. Let's look at the 4-hour chart and just see what's going on. Yeah, look at what we have going on. Daily, let's go to the daily chart. It broke, we broke out of that resistance level, and we're making here some moves for BNB. What happened to the doom and gloom from all of those bearish influencers out there saying BNB was dead?
I don't know.
I'll tell you right now, this is something that looks very similar to what Cardano did. Look what we have going on here on the macro, a falling level of resistance with a flat bottom. Yeah, the wicks go down a little bit lower, but look how many times we kind of got into this zone right here around 204, 203. So usually these are bearish formations. Like anyone who said that we should have broken the downside, I don't even have a problem with them. This is a bearish formation. But we broke the resistance, retested the resistance, turning to support, and now we're making a rally to the upside. This looks very, very similar to what Cardano did to start its little rally off. I know there's a lot going on here, but remember, Cardano had a little of its own descending triangle. We were bearish on. I mean, I remember this was one of my justifications for saying we might see an 18-cent Cardano, but then we broke the resistance, retested its support, and we are up and to the right. So good job, BNB. Keep the bullishness going. XRP also up almost 3%, 2.6%. Only up to 54 cents, though, so I want to see it continue to do more things. We'll take a look maybe at XRP a little later. Cardano up 2.6, Avalanche 2.9, Doge 3. Let's see. Let's just do our big winners. DOT for sure 6. Let's see what is the biggest winner of them all.
Blur,
21%. If you picked up some Blur over the last 24 hours, put a 1 in chat. You are a winner. T-Shroom, are you bullish on Blur? Is that one of your fun ones?
I don't have any Blur, but it's a good coin.
It wasn't in our holding of the coins that were in our holding that are doing well. First of all, you got 2 AI tokens still doing well. Theta is not one of the ones that we had. Near was, though. We had Near in our portfolio doing well. We had Say in our portfolio doing very, very well. Yeah, look at this. Let's see what our biggest losers are looking like, though. Who's sucking today? Sia coin. All right, well, good news. Not in our portfolio, so that's really good. Oh, maybe a Band-Aid also. Welcome to the bros, which again, red badge there. So he's been a bro here for a little while, but thank you so much for the support. Shout out to you. The Graph cooling off, Singularity Net cooling off a little bit, of course. Those 2 AI coins that had some big moves over the last week. You can still see over here when you look at the 7-day, the 30-day, they're still very, very wealthily in the green. Blackie Chan, is that a lie or is that truth? I know that's one that would be easy to lie about, and I would never know. I have to trust you on that one, Blackie Chan. Oop, did not mean to click on that. My bad. So, yeah, that's what we have going on over here. Out of curiosity, this month, as we're getting closer to the end of the month, what's been the biggest? WorldCoin. All right, we talked about this one. WorldCoin, not going to be one that we ever hold. I'm gonna speak for myself. T-Shroom, if you want to own it, no judgment. Tim Warren will never own that coin, but it has done very, very well. Singularity Net, Ajax doing well. We like that one. Render doing well, of course. Uniswap, all the ones we've talked about here or in the most recent days. With that said, though, that is our market open today. Things are looking a little bullish for the short term. But T-Shroom, what's happening in the news that people need to be aware of today?
Yeah, well, Tim, there is a story. U.S. DOJ tightens grip on Binance ex-CEO, maybe you've heard of him, CZ. Okay, so U.S. attorneys propose new bond conditions consistent with the December order by Judge Richard Jones that CZ must remain in the continental United States until sentencing, turning down CZ's request to travel to his family in the UAE. So, Judge also said CZ must remain in the U.S. under pretrial service supervision through sentencing. Prosecutors claim that the bond conditions should be revised to reflect those orders. So yeah, that's, it sucks. It sucks for CZ. But ultimately here, the reason why CZ is important in my mind is because he, depending on what kind of deals he makes with regulators, whether they be here in the US or abroad, he could potentially be sitting on some information about other exchanges or about crypto in general, that maybe, it may not be in the interest of the crypto markets for that information to get out, right? So that could potentially be a shoe to fall. It's not something that I hear almost anybody talking about. So I would say it's like a 2 out of 3 concern level in my mind. I don't really think it's a big risk, but it would be something that picks up super quick, happens all of a sudden. The headline would be CZ divulges sensitive information about the state of crypto exchanges operations and how they essentially obfuscate money laundering, reporting, and different things like that. So I don't think it's going to happen. Again, 2 out of 3 level risk, but it's something to know, and it's something to continue to know. Obviously, in addition, CZ is also kind of a big hero in the crypto space right now. He's kind of in the doldrums, right? He's in a low point of his career, but he is absolutely a hero who's held crypto on his back through a couple of different segments of its history. So that's going to be the story for today, Tim. But we've got some more to discuss later on. But why don't we go ahead and jump on into the charts?
Let's do it. Now, before we get there, let's go back to BroCam real quick. We're going to go ahead and get this done out of the way now.
Let's do it.
And I guess if someone else asks questions later, we can talk about this. Some of you may not know this. Some of you do know this. There was an event last night that kept some of us up wee hours of the morning. There was karate combat. First of all, shout out to every single person who fought in that event. No matter your skill level in fighting whatsoever, putting yourself on a public stage and getting punched in the face is not an easy thing to do. So respect to every single fighter who stepped in that ring. I will say there were some fights that were a little strange, like not talented whatsoever. There were some that were very good. Like, for example, I have renewed my fear of Crypto Crow. Shout out to him, the 7-foot mammoth that has a massive, massive right hand. Teacher, did you watch the fight?
I did not.
Yeah, he made Moon Daddy, which is, we could camp out on that name for a while. Hadn't heard of Moon Daddy. Go follow him, I guess. But he made Moon Daddy look like a rag doll. Very quick fight, very heavy blows. Crypto Crow is one scary dude. Chat, what do you guys think? Everyone, of course, the big fight of the night was BitBoy. Respect to him. Hey, he won the fight. I heard some people say they thought it was rigged, it was fake. I don't think so. What I watched, I think it was a real fight. I think both those guys fought very hard. I don't think either one of them have a lot of experience in the fighting ring whatsoever. I don't have experience in the fighting ring either, so I'm not trying to speak as some sort of expert. But shout out to him for winning. I'm sure that means a lot to him. And, sometimes you need wins in life. Good for him. Let's see. We just got a super chat from Virginia Man saying, hey, fellas, I'm trying to get... All right, so this could be a shill, but we're going to read it anyway. Just be prepared, everyone. I don't know what this is. ATEK. You guys know what ATEK is? Let me know. T-shirt, do you know what ATEK is? A-I-T-E-K?
I know what BTEC is.
Okay,
no, I do not know what
that
ATEK is.
Yeah, price keeps shooting up. I know the market is going to drop, but wish I had a crystal ball. Appreciate your guys' hard work. Virginia Man, first of all, his name's Virginia Man, so you got to love that. Let's see AI Tech.
AI Tech.
Is that going to be a token? It's not one I can look at
very small
via this.
I got it here. Very small. Definitely not recommending this at all. It's
go to the 1 year on it, and let's see how much price action it has.
It's a 10 million, just under $9 million coin. So this is extremely small cap. Okay, it's not even $10 million coin. Now the chart is looking good since the beginning of February. It's been up and to the right, but so has crypto. So in general, I'd say it's something worth looking more into, but I'd say this is the very beginning of the investigation into something like this. It is on Ethereum. It's on Uniswap V2. So that looks like the only exchange it's on right now. So I'd be very careful with this one, but thank you so much for the super chat. And look, if you're a gem hunter out there, if you fancy yourself a hunt, this might be one to look into for sure.
Interesting. Okay. Well, it's not. I do struggle to recommend buying into coins that are up 400 and something % within the last 30 days. You usually want to wait for some form of a pullback. But thank you, Virginia Man, for the super chat. Thank you for that little call. Again, people look into it. Do your own research. But tokens like that are the ones that if they make it big, those are the ones that can make people a lot of money. But yeah, as we kind of wrap it up, the fight, it was interesting. I don't think T-Shroom, would you ever join an influencer fight? Oh yeah, there's Crow versus Moon Daddy. By the way, Moon Daddy doesn't look like that. That's a nice AI image.
Crypto Crow. Would I ever do it?
Would you ever do the fight?
So from what I learned in the U.S. military, I can't fight anybody because I'm a weapon. I'm a weapon of mass destruction.
So you're saying it would be illegal for you to enter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it's too
unfortunately,
dangerous. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, I don't think I would fight. I'll put it this way: there's no one I'd be afraid to fight except for Crow. but I just don't know what the win would be to fight, if I'm being very honest. Again, no disrespect to any of the influencers who fought or wanted to fight and then their fights were canceled. You guys do your thing. I just feel like there's better things to do than train to punch and get punched. I'm going to spend that time researching crypto and spending time with my wife and family. And that's just me, though. So respect to all of them. I do think, I will say, I think that it was a success. I think George, of course, Cryptos Are Us, kind of hosting it. I think he feels good about it. I think there was a good response. I'm not going to be surprised to see more of them. But I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way. If anyone's asking when are the bros entering into karate combat, I don't think anytime soon, and I'd be surprised if it was anytime ever. So closing that out. Respect to all of the fighters. Every single one of them had a lot of guts going in there and doing what they did and creating some entertainment. But it is time to get back into crypto and talk about price action, because ultimately, when you subscribe to a crypto channel, you probably are not subscribing for fighting tips or fighting videos.
That's right.
You're probably subscribing to get some tips about crypto itself. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin price action chart. Now, there's a couple things going on here. We're going to address more. We're going to come back to the Bitcoin chart to talk about the potential bull trap when we get into the conversation, because I don't want to get ahead of the schedule and then let you guys get all over the place. What I will say is going on right here that we need to be aware of is there is a little bit of a descending triangle on the shorter time frames here on Bitcoin. Let's actually go to the hourly chart where it's a little more clear. We have been holding this support level very nicely, this $50,600 level. Yeah, we have some candles, some wicks below. This recently, yesterday, was the lowest we've been since all the way back here on February 14th. But I'm not going to hold that against it. It's still a zone, and we bounced off that zone and came back up. But look at where we're losing momentum right here, and we're slowing down. It's right back at that falling level of resistance. Traditionally, these break to the downside. And in this case, let's actually see if this formation were to play out and it were to break down. This is probably going to put it below where we – oh, no, it's actually pretty stinking on point with the levels we have talked about. Some of you might be wondering, Tim, what do you mean? Well, this prediction would put us down to about 48,500, 400, give or take. When we turn on our Lux Algo signals, guess what levels we have been talking about for potential downward move? We have been talking about this order block and this take profit level sitting at about 48,600. So we're seeing a lot more confluence come in for a move to the downside. Now, I want to start by saying this is not a massive move. Even though people don't want to see Bitcoin get back below 50,000, dropping to 48.6 is not a big deal, especially when you kind of look out here and you zoom out. It probably would be a very healthy move to move back down these levels and maybe even go a little bit lower, down towards 47, 46. Why? Because even though we had some wicks back here, like, for example, right after the ETF was announced, we wicked up to 49,000. Look at where a lot of the resistance was happening right here around 47, a little lower than $47,000 level. And while we did slightly break through and retest those levels, so we don't have to, it's just an area that I think would be very interesting for a higher low for Bitcoin to come back down and get back down into this zone of former resistance and turn it into support. In fact, when I take the fixed range volume profile and I use it during the time period that zone was being traded in, even with this upper side, our value area high is coming in right down here at about 47.3. So let's look at this box right here. Yeah, we have that order block. I think I already showed you guys. Let's turn that order block back on. We have one order block right there at 48.6, a more significant one coming in down here at 47. So watch this box for a good pullback. And honestly, even if the price keeps dropping, I will say, T-Shroom, a lot of people are going to ask this question forever and ever and ever. Oh, am I too late to buy? Oh, am I too late to buy? Oh, should I wait? Oh, should I wait? And I want to kind of, let's just sit here and like backtrack the price action and walk through. A lot of people up here at 31,000, and of course the price ended up correcting. We're saying, oh, should I buy? Should I buy? No, wait for a pullback. And of course a pullback did come. But right now, let's put this in perspective. If you could buy at 32,000, 31,600, that price, does that not sound amazing? Well, back in July, it wasn't so great, but now it sounds awesome. And then we have price action back up in here, and we're overextended, and people are saying, oh, should I buy at 38,000? Should I wait for a pullback? I don't know. And again, there's a good chance a pullback could have come down, and there's a good chance we actually end up still dropping to this level. But ultimately, people probably weren't wanting to buy. They wanted to wait for lower price action. And now you tell me, Tim, you have an ability to buy at 38,000. That sounds awesome. And I could go on and so forth. My point here, if you're asking, should I buy at 51,000 or is it too late? Historically, while that is an overpriced Bitcoin right now, if we're talking about long-term price action, in a couple of months, we're going to be sitting at 62,000, 70,000, 80,000. And people are going to be saying, should I buy? If we could just pull back to 51,000, that's it. I'm going all in. What's my point here? I'm not saying you should go all in at 51,000. My point is continue to DCA. You guys know I love to trade. We're going to talk more about trading later, but continue to DCA. These are still good DCA levels. Do not fall for a trap of hoping and waiting for lower levels. I'm not saying put all of your dry powder. I'm saying continue with your DCA strategy and protect yourself, because again, if price does not drop, and if we do just have a bullish breakout and go up from here, you're going to be wishing you could have bought at 51,000 again. There will be a day where you wish you could get to those levels. So keep your eyes on those things. Let's take a look, though, at the more corrections kind of coming in here. Let's see what we have going on. Money flow on the 4-hour start, still negative, although it does look like it's rounding. Ooh, no. Let's see. Let's zoom in here. Let's go and take a look here. Did money flow pop back up? Yeah, it did. Money flow on the 4-hour chart did pop back up above that bearish threshold. And to be fair, this is actually one of our trading strategies of bullishness that we would have entered probably right in here. Let's see what that looks like. Would have entered somewhere right in here. Let's see. I mean, this is one I don't like. I mean, if I would use this strategy, I feel I'm going to get liquidated. But if we break above this yellow line, we could pop up easily back up to this order block up at 52.3, 52.4, give or take. So continue to watch that yellow resistance level. If we reject, good chance we're breaking back down here towards 48. If we break through it, look for potential moves at least back up to 52.4. And potentially, are we looking to retouch this long-term yellow line of resistance and maybe get back up higher in this box, maybe start pushing towards $54,000, $55,000. We're going to cover more altcoins in the Q&A section. Make sure you guys stick around for the entire show for that. But that's where our market's looking at today. Not really anything special. We're moving into a position where we will need to make a decision. We've been boring / a little negative in traditional crypto markets for the last week or so. But a breakout is coming. The question is which direction. And to talk more about that, we're going to get into some conversations where analysts are potentially predicting that all the hype going into the Bitcoin halving could already be priced in, and we could be witnessing a current setup of a bull trap as everyone expecting Bitcoin price to go up, but price actually could plummet. T. Shroom, what are the details of that analyst prediction?
Yeah, so Tim, take a look at this here. JP Morgan predicts Bitcoin having already priced in. Is it a major correction coming? Is major correction ahead potentially? So let's take a look at some of the details here. Data suggests that the flow of Bitcoin from smaller wallets, often associated with retail traders, has significantly surpassed that from institutional investors. This is even after accounting for inflows into new spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds, noted by Nicholas Pangaretskatskalu and his team.
That's a great name.
Nicholas P. and his team over at JP Morgan. He said this.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The revival of the retail impulse in February perhaps reflects the anticipation of 3 main crypto catalysts over the coming months: the Bitcoin halving event, the next major upgrade of Ethereum network, and the prospect of approval of a spot Ethereum ETF by the Securities and Exchange Commission in May. We believe that the first 2 catalysts are largely priced in, while the third catalyst we only see a 50% chance. So that's kind of what they're clocking over there at JP Morgan. And then you also have an interesting tweet here from Vandepump, who we haven't had on the show in a while. I don't know if he's ever been on Investing Bros, but he used to come on Crypto Jeb every once in a while.
Yeah, we had him on. We had him on like one of the. We had him on one of the weeks. It was you, me, and Smay.
Yeah, but he's saying in theory for Bitcoin remains the same. I'm expecting to see a top between 54,000 to 58,000 pre-halving, altcoins to run substantially, and then a harsh correction. So Vanderpump still predicting there to be at that 20 to 40% correction. That is characterized by the history of Bitcoin's price action. But then you got Plan B also saying, to be honest, I would be surprised to see Bitcoin below 40,000 ever again. And I tend to agree here with Plan B. I think that if we do see a pullback, the lowest that we would see is that support down there at 42,000 just seems really, really strong. Anything south of that, and I think you're asking for a lot, or there's just been quite a huge, kind of I wouldn't say black swan, but a very, very bearish event. And we've seen a lot of bearish events in the last couple weeks, and it hasn't sent the price for Bitcoin anywhere but up. So, that's kind of what I'm clocking here. JP Morgan, they're trying to spread some fear. They're trying to show some data about retail investment versus institutional investment. Tim, what are your thoughts on this? How are you digesting this information?
Well, it's funny. I don't know. Like I have my own opinions on things, and I don't know if I agree with any of those analysts' thoughts right there. First of all, it's always been dangerous, and I've learned the sentence, I don't think we'll ever see Bitcoin drop below, and I don't care what the number is. That sentence has not worked out well for people. Very few times have I heard people use a sentence like that and it be successful. I think you could say, I don't think Bitcoin will ever drop below 3,000 again. Honestly, I don't think it'll drop below 20,000. The truth is, I at this point, I'm not certain it'll ever drop below 30,000 again. But I don't want to put that out there as like saying like that's my prediction, because oftentimes when you say something like that, that's when you get things wrong and price actually does drop. The guy that was talking about the more bearish prediction was Vanderpump with the one thing.
And I don't even know that it was all that bearish. It's definitely not more bearish than what we've been saying.
Yeah, what exactly? But he was talking about post-halving, right? He was talking about a correction post-halving.
Pre-halving.
Oh, it was pre-halving. Okay.
Yeah, the theory for Bitcoin remains the same. I'm expecting to see a top between 54 to 58 pre-halving, and then presumably a correction, and then and then he proceeds to make a comment about altcoins performance in that around that time as well. Altcoins would run substantially, right, and then have a harsh correction.
He's not giving a number, but that phrase harsh correction would imply significant pullback, and I don't think we're talking about 10%, 15%. I think we're talking more than 20, pushing 30 to 40, and of course, that's going to put us down close to that $32,000 level. Let's look at the chart here again. I told you guys I didn't want to go too much in detail before getting the article. I do want to bring to your attention something that I'm seeing on a lot of charts right now. And I think a lot of people are going to be tempted to look at this as being bullish. Let's go to a cleaner Bitcoin chart. I have my 53. Let's get rid of that. We bottomed out here in the bear market way back here in November. This is time to kind of do a more macro look. And there's been lots of volatility, but ultimately we've had all of these waves where let's see here. What do I want to use? I'll just use the brush. We've had some pretty significant waves. We had A, B, C wave, and then there's kind of a sideways trading action. And you could say it's, I don't know what you want to call it, but ultimately we had an ABC wave up there. And now we're having another one where we've had some big movements here, mostly starting right here. We had the biggest movement with a 20% correction, and now we're in a C wave right here. So are we going to play this out to an ABC? Or are we going to play this out to a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? What I'm concerned about, though, I'm seeing this everywhere, right? And I'll show you the other charts where I'm seeing this. I see this on total. Again, very similar price action to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin does make up a large part of what total does. By the way, total right here, guys, if you look it up on your trading view, it's the market cap of all of crypto together. So we're sitting at 1.9 trillion, almost just beneath that $2 trillion mark. But again, similar actions happening here. And again, since here in October, a big first wave, second correction, and then now the momentum is slowing down on not a very big wave. The momentum of these jumps is going higher and higher. And a lot of people, I'll show you on this one, a lot of people are tempted right now to say, Tim, bull pennant. This is a bull pennant right now. We're playing out a bull pennant. Okay, yeah. But guess what? The beginnings of harsh corrections look like bull pennants. We saw it on Bitcoin. We saw it on total just by itself, total 2. This one is excluding Bitcoin. This is just Ethereum and then all the other altcoins. Same thing. The same aggressive waves are going on. Total 3. Now you take out Ethereum. Again, look at these waves. The momentum is slowing down with the explosiveness. And to be honest, I'm going to throw it back to something you guys have seen before. But guys, we've seen this We've seen this same move in Bitcoin back here in 2019. A very, we kind of bottomed out here. We have our hesitation. We move sideways. The real trend kind of starts right here. A, B, C. When you look at this at the very beginning of it, you could have been tempted to say bull flag, bull pennant. We have further to go to the upside. Let's take this flagpole and let's run Bitcoin up to $24,000. Let's do it. That is the temptation when you're looking at an explosive movement followed by sideways price action. But in this case, of course, looking at history's 2020, you can see this bull pennant ended up playing out sideways, symmetrical triangle pattern, breaking to the downside and having a harsh correction of 50%. So do we have to repeat that? No, not necessarily. But I do want people to be aware of, even though, yes, we had explosive action from back here in this bottom of January 24th up to the more recent top here a couple of weeks ago. Look at the explosive momentum. It's nowhere near as explosive as this wave that we had throughout October and November that marked that first explosive thing. Where our momentum of bullishness is slowing down. Corrections are normal. Shout out, by the way, to Shannon Fowler in chat. He's probably going to start talking about my hair at any given moment and how I should shave it. But he is a good friend of us, and I love him. Shout out to Shannon Fowler. My point here is, while I am not going to believe in a pullback because JP Morgan predicts it, because we all know that they have incentive, I have to take the argument that they're making and discuss the merit of it, because they are speaking facts when they talk about the institutional money slowing down. GBDC is still selling off, maybe not as fast as it was at one point, but I think that's still something. There's still a lot of money in GBDC despite their high fees. It makes sense for them to sell off and move into something else. We're seeing we're seeing retail investors get extremely, extremely excited. You're also seeing the hype pick up about the halving event. People are getting stupid excited about the bullshit of the halving event. And again, I think the halving event is a great thing. However, we know from history, when everyone gets bullish on a topic, when everyone gets bullish about a certain thing, odds are it comes in and disappoints. But I do want to say, this is the last thing I say on this topic, and I'll throw it back to you, T-Shroom. You and I discussed this before the show. I actually have a scenario where the most bullish action, the most bullish thing that could happen for Bitcoin is this harsh correction, is for a major drop based off of the halving event. And the reason why is because the miners are going to love it.
Yeah.
The miners would love to get past this halving event and the price shoot back down to 32,000. I think, T-Shroom, if we had a steep drop in price as like a bull trap event, it would literally go from bull trap into extremely severe bear trap, and we would see massive explosion in Bitcoin price. Whereas right now, if you go to my screen, I think the reasonable expectation for the future of Bitcoin's price should look more something like this. I don't think we're going to be seeing any God candles anytime soon. I think we trade sideways here, maybe a little bit of dip, and we come back down to this box. We kind of rally here. We move sideways in the halving. This is like the bullish scenario, like there's no big correction. And then we just kind of slowly but surely make our way. And it's a very gradual event, which is okay. That's fine. Sometimes people like to see God candles. My prediction, though, is if there is some sort of like a bull trap here and we start dropping quickly and we come back down and we touch 32,000, now look for something like this. And it's like in one day, we're going to be up like 50% on Bitcoin. Like, I never bent back on myself. Yeah, this is what I think could happen. And the miners would absolutely love it because, yeah, everything's going to get more difficult and more expensive for them. But if the price could dip 40, 50%, the miners get to gobble up all of that. We all know that one of the most important people to pay attention to for the future of Bitcoin's price is how are the miners feeling? Are they bullish? Are they bearish? Are they holding or are they selling? Because they obviously mine their Bitcoin. If there's a massive capitulation and price moves back down to 32K, the miners would have a field day and it could spark massive, massive explosion, in which case I still think we go to the same level either way, whether there's a correction or not. But for those of us who are trading and those of us who do have dry powder and want to buy Bitcoin at lower levels, we would very much love to see that as well. Tisha, that's all I have. That was a little bit of a thought. What do you think about my take right there? Not whether you agree or disagree, but what are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And for folks who are a little newer, Tim, could you explain briefly, like, if I'm a miner, why do I want the price to come down?
Why do I want the price to come down? Because now every time I mine, so if I'm mining, I'm getting certain rewards, and the price is 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not mining and getting rewards in dollar amounts. I'm getting Satoshi amounts.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I can get that price to go down and get those more Satoshis at those levels, then that's even more profits in the future as the price goes back up. And again, the only times that the miners are selling is because of either A, they think that the hash rate is getting a little bit too low, or B, because they can't pay their bills. A massive decline in price action and lets them, it almost even forces them to hold long term, would cause the hash rate to skyrocket. And that's where you see those God candles kind of come in. And anyone who bought those low levels is going to feel very, very good about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking, Tim, is this goes back to more of the narratives, right? Which is kind of T-Shroom's sweet spot anyway, right? Which is we get this headline today, JP Morgan coming out and just, throwing some cold water on an already, kind of getting into a sideways movement Bitcoin market, right? Throwing a big cold water on it. But if we look, this last week has been characterized by some stuff like that, which the first thing that comes to mind is this headline. The European Union Central Bank says Bitcoin fair value is still zero, right? And it's not suitable as a means of payment or as an investment. So European Central Bank, the ECB, right? They just say exactly what they're thinking, exactly what they're going back and forth in their boardrooms talking about, whether or not that's what they actually believe versus what they're saying. This is what is published, and this is what a lot of people are reading and thinking about. And you'd have to imagine the only people that really respect the European Central Bank is just bankers, right? People in the European and maybe the American banking industry. But it's not like the European Central Bank is something to write home about. Like there's some strong, stalwart, super wise group of people, right? They're just taking their cues from the Fed, the U.S. Fed, and just collecting their paycheck and getting some supplemental education on economics every now and then. Okay. Anyway.
Well, you want to say that they're okay. That was a weird sentence. That was almost like Joe Biden. What I just said. Okay. European Central Bank. If you think the American Central Bank has a reason to stifle Bitcoin, and I think we all agree with that, the dollar is still pretty strong compared to other fiat currencies.
Mm-hmm.
The euro, European currencies, they are all dying. Like they're plummeting. And so they have a very strong reason to go against Bitcoin because their death is on their doorsteps. I don't think we are close to the death of the dollar. Even if the dollar continues to have high inflation, I think the dollar, the more and more I've looked at it, I think the dollar is definitely still going to be around here at least for the next 20 years. When you look at some of these other fiat currencies, though, I mean, we're looking at like a lot of currencies in South America are probably less than 5 years of life left. Mm-hmm. Europe, maybe the same. Like they're just being degraded so fast. Of course, BRICS nations also are getting depleted, so that's where they're looking to make some sort of change. The U.S. dollar is actually, in terms of other fiat currency, sitting very, very pretty. It's still dying compared to Bitcoin, but it's sitting well. Europeans do not have the same luxury of the U.S. dollar. They are getting their value destroyed daily, and the banks hate losing that power, and they'll fight it to their last breath.
Right, and so you also had this moment here. We covered it, when Gary Gensler was kind of talking here about decentralization and how Bitcoin is not that decentralized. Right, this is an old, antiquated argument. And really, it's dumb. It's easily disprovable. No, it is very decentralized. And so if you take that headline, you take the headline from the ECB from this week, right? And then you also take a couple other ones. Let's see, another one that I had pulled up was actually this one. So BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, he calls Bitcoin a flight to quality. In my opinion, this comment here kind of kicked off a much more high-level public discussion about Bitcoin, because these guys are constant. You have to imagine, they're going to World Economic Forum and they're going to events that are similar to that. And they're talking about Bitcoin nonstop. They're just like, how the heck are we what do we do with this? And obviously there's been, some side of Wall Street or the TradFi establishment, led by BlackRock, that's been like, if you can't beat them, join them. You can't legislate, if you can't ban Bitcoin out of existence, then you got to join them, right? And that's Larry Fink's position.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you fast forward, Vanguard takes the opposite position. It's like, well, no, we're going to continue to not join them. You know, we're not going to sue BlackRock. We're going to, you know, they can still operate. We don't think that BlackRock's doing anything illegal, but Vanguard, we're going to protect our clients from Bitcoin and Bitcoin ETFs, right? And then you have the ECB come out this week and say some negative things, and then you have Gary Gensler come out and get paid to say some things. So ultimately, all of this kind of culminates in, to me, I keep coming to this conclusion. I was sitting there like editing some videos, and then I was sitting watching TV, and it occurred to me like the arguments are starting to get really flailing. They're starting to become straw men from some of the largest, you know, institutions in the world. The SEC, the ECB.
They're becoming desperate.
They're becoming desperate, Tim. It's extremely well put. And you said just a few seconds ago something that's really important, which is there's now 14 currencies, fiat currencies around the world that Bitcoin is at an all-time high compared to. And I'm talking about the lira, right? The Turkish lira. We're talking about some of the other, the Japanese yen, right? Some of the other currencies like that, where they're not coming from. These are not weak countries. Like Turkey and Japan are very robust economies that, you know, especially Japan, very advanced modern economies, and yet Bitcoin is still, you know, at all-time highs compared to them. It does give you some context of how strong the U.S. dollar is, and I don't remember what day I talked about it, but this week I definitely kind of railed on that because somebody was asking about BRICS in the chat. Somebody was talking about BRICS, and I was like, look, BRICS here, and I had a little bit of an evolution on this, but BRICS is interesting, right? It's been interesting, but ultimately I think it's not a nothing burger. But if the threat to the dollar BRICS level of threat to the dollar is probably like a 2 or 3 out of 10, right? Because the dollar is like a 10, right? The dollar is so dominant. You maybe say gold is a 10. The dollar is like 9 or 8, right? Bitcoin is probably somewhere like a 5 or 6, just because it is neutral. What BRICS has going against it is, what is BRICS? It's basically a denial of the U.S. government. It's saying, hey, we're going to get together, China, Russia, India, and Brazil. We're going to get together because we can't get along with the U.S. Well, just think about that for a second. If you can't get along with the U.S., the country that buys everything from the rest of the world like a sponge, we have the biggest consumer dollar to go out and just buy stuff. If you can't get along with that incentive, what makes you think that you're going to get along with each other in BRICS? If you can't get along with the United States, what makes you think that BRICS is going to get along with themselves? And so far, we saw Saudi Arabia put one foot in, and then keep 1 foot out. They have not fully committed. We've seen headlines to the contrary, but Saudi Arabia has not fully committed to BRICS.
Yeah, well, and you know what else we're seeing happen, T-Shroom, is we're seeing India take advantage of China's step back in terms of production. I mean, obviously, Chinese economy is not doing well right now. We've discussed that previously. It's a very sad thing. Like, there's billions of people suffering. But India has stepped up and said, you know what? We have the opportunity now to become the new China, to be the #1 country in terms of production of these goods. And that could stifle, if China doesn't find a way to get back on their feet quickly and India takes the reins on that. You know, we're so used to, it was a running joke here, you know, Walmart's China world, right? You can't go into Walmart and buy something without looking at the bottom of it and saying, oh, made in China. Here very soon, we could see that flip and be like, everything is made in India. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, China, they're struggling bad. And to be honest with you, that there's probably nothing that the Americans would like to see better than that, to see China suffering like that and India take over. And of course, India in the BRICS nations, do they potentially leave the BRICS nations? Like there's a lot of kind of crap going on. Like if you think it's bad here in the US, just move somewhere else in the world. I think chaos is not biased to just the United States.
Yeah. I knew I had something to say, and I think you just said it right there, Tim, is like, you know, we talk about Bitcoin, we talk about BRICS, we talk about ultimate threats to global supremacy, right? Who is going to define the future of the world here for the next 500 years, right? That's a really big question. But clearly, cryptocurrency is going to be playing a role in that. What is the role? Well, we don't know exactly. But I don't think, but I think a lot of folks think that the dollar is going to be extinguished. It's going to be wiped off, you know, and it's possible. I think that the biggest threat to the dollar is actually the U.S. government. It's a self-implosion because we can't figure out what to do with all the debt. But the outside forces, right? Again, I'm kind of go back to the scale. I think the U.S. dollar and the U.S. government is still a 10 out of 10. It's right there with gold. And people they throw so much mud at the U.S. government, and there's so much criticism, and rightly so. There's a lot to critique, but it's still so freaking powerful and so freaking sturdy and built on solid ground. And U.S. politicians, they're trying to do everything they can to make the U.S. government crumble, but it's so freaking sturdy, in my opinion, from the way I see it. But the rest of the world is not. The rest of the world, to me, is built on. It looks like it's built on sand. It's built on very, very bad ideas, built on singular commodity sales. I think there are some shining stars out there, like the future hubs of crypto, like the UAE. I think Saudi Arabia does very, very well because it's exporting something that the world's going to continue to need in oil. Same thing with Norway. But there's a lot of countries out there, China, Brazil, that are just they're really kind of scary. And it looks to me like the people are going to eventually say, cryptocurrency is over my government. My government is no longer important to me as much as crypto is, in the same way that a lot of countries have just adopted the dollar, right? And so I think that is something to keep in mind here, is that Bitcoin is not just American. Bitcoin is not just, kind of dueling with the American establishment and the dollar. It's dueling really, and has already dominated and won so many other battles internationally, and has become supreme in a lot of other international kind of karate combats, so to speak, right? But the fight with the dollar is probably not one that it's going to ultimately win in the next, Tim said 25, I think even 100, 200 years. Just because we so vastly underestimate the strength of the United States.
Yeah, I almost see more of like the U.S. dollar evolving rather than dying,
right?
And obeying better rules, which would be amazing. Let's look at chat here for a second. We have some interesting stuff here now. Shannon Fowler has chimed in here a little bit. He said, I couldn't get along with a country that Tim lived in either. He also said Tim's hairline is going to define the future of the world. Put a 1 in chat if you would love for Shannon Fowler to come on one of these Saturday special edition shows and join T-Shroom and Tim. And he can just do nothing but a roast section, because that's what Shannon loves to do. Put a 1 in chat and hit the like button if you think Shannon Fowler should join one of these shows. He does not like going on camera, but maybe we can peer pressure him into it. There were some other good thoughts here in chat I saw. Mellow Fellow said, in my opinion, we're going to look back on BRICS as a failed experiment in the next 10 to 15 years, especially if they stay backed by the digital yuan. I think I could agree with that. To me, I don't even know if we need 10 to 15 years. Again, there's some stuff happening currently that is kind of falling apart. Getting a lot of 1s here in chat, Shannon. So, you're going to do that. Dlee Crypto said, when is Jeb going to be on the show? Yeah, he's back from his vacation, so I'm going to reach out again because we had that conversation about him potentially coming on after his vacation was done. Jeb's a busy man. I mean, T-Shroom and I are busy men. Jeb's a busy man. So sometimes the schedules don't always line up, but I am doing everything I can to get that set up. Shannon said the better question is, when will I be on the show? That's what I just said. Okay. All right. Let's look. There's some other questions here back about Bitcoin. Let's see. Bedridden asked, I can't find where he said it, but I remember the exact question. He asked, where we think Bitcoin will be when the halving happens in May. T-Shroom, what are your thoughts? Like, where do you think the price of Bitcoin is when we get to the halving event?
I just have this running in the background. These are all the currencies that Bitcoin is all-time high against. This is from Balaji. Okay, so the question is, what was the question again? Sorry.
Where will Bitcoin price be in May when we get the halving event?
In May, let's see. Well, I think first of all, I think a lot. JP Morgan, I do agree with one bit, is that JP Morgan is bringing out 3 very important moments, which is two of which is the Ethereum upgrade, and then the Ethereum SEC approval of the spot Ethereum ETF, right? So one thing I'll say is I anticipate a decent rotation out of Bitcoin into Ethereum just as a trade, right? As the big trade for that moment. because if there's a 50% chance, that's decent odds, right? That I could make a lot of money on Ethereum if we see what happened with Bitcoin happened to Ethereum. So I would say Bitcoin leading into May, right around in here, May 18th. He said, it's kind of a random date.
That's the expectation for the halving. That's
gotcha. I see. Okay. Yeah, I'd say it probably still under all-time highs.
okay.
So maybe like 55,000.
That's gonna be higher than mine. I think no matter what, because I do think some form of correction. Yeah, go to my chart here real quick. Whether we pull back down to 32 and then bounce back up, whether we do what T Shroom's kind of describing and we go even further to the upside and then pull back down, I'm going to put this little box right here. I'm going to put somewhere in this 47, 48, potentially as low as $45,000 level. I think this box, just kind of keep this extended. Would not be surprised to see the halving happen in this box. And again, if you told me, Tim, you have to choose one, or something really bad is going to happen to your family, I'm going to predict a move more like this rather than a move like this. But that is just me. I think either way, though, I'm going to say that right south of $50,000, we trade sideways in it, and then the explosion happens later on in the summer for really bullish price action.
Yeah.
Shannon Fowler gave a super chat. Oh, my goodness. I love this. He just comes in because he's not like he can text me or anything. He just decides to disrupt the show. This is entertainment, though, so I love it when he does this. Tim, in your opinion, oh, my goodness. I haven't even read the rest of the question, but I just know this is going to be crazy.
It's going to be
In your opinion, is Bitcoin price inversely related to your hairline? Okay, there we go. And inversely related to your hairline. I noticed that with every half inch it recedes, the price goes up. All right, first of all, Shannon Fowler, let's not act like you have the hairline of Channing Tatum either. You got yourself some balding effects going on. We are all, you, me, and T-Shroom, follically challenged. But to answer your question, maybe. I don't know. I've had this deep hairline again since I was 18 years old. I'm kind of thinking this is just where it's going to be the rest of my life. You guys can see how deep that is, but it's been that deep since 18 years old. We're going on almost 12 years, and it's staying put. So we'll have to wait and see. I want to shave it bald. I do want to. My wife likes it, though, as it currently is. T-Shroom, have you ever do you keep hair on your head because of your preference, or do you have an outside force forcing you to not shave?
It's just
the military made you shave.
It's easier to maintain like this. That's what I'll say. I've never thought about shaving it because that seems like it's going to be harder to maintain. It's free.
Maybe.
It's free for me. I have like a $20 little buzzer or whatever. I just zoom, 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 trim up my beard, trim up, and it's just done. And I go hop in the shower. 5 minutes for my monthly grooming. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Hunt. Dex Hunter token is pumping, says nasty, thug nasty. So taking a look at the charts, you can see here, we are getting a nice little pump here from Dex Hunter. Pretty small coin, but I have a lot of, I'd say I have a lot of confidence in this as a token. I have a decent amount of it, not too much, but don't bet the farm on this, but it's decent. Not financial advice in any way.
Yeah, it's still putting in there a lower high, so don't get too overly bullish on that one. Piper says shave it. French Toaster said Piper knows. Here's the deal, and again, my wife doesn't want me to, but she would appreciate good success on this channel. I've told you guys, 50,000 subscribers before the end of 2024, and I will shave my head clean bald. And if it's a good look, we'll stay with it. We'll see if she lets me. I think the last time I shaved my head bald, because I just wanted to try it back when I was like 22-ish, 23-ish, I didn't have this thick of a beard. I would say my beard probably looked more similar to T-Shroom's, but he cleans his up more. I left mine a little longer, so it kind of looked ugly. So it wasn't a great look necessarily, but I think that if you have, so I had the thick neck. You can barely even tell that I have a neck. I have the thick neck. I got the big beard. My thoughts are, as a white guy, that's the qualification to be bald. To be bald, Piper pulls it off without a thick beard. He looks good. But most white guys that have thick necks with good-looking beards, they can pull off a bald head. When you don't have any beard whatsoever, like if you like shave your face clean, and you have a skinny neck and you're bald,
I don't
you're
endorse.
beautiful in your mom's eyes still.
I don't. Yeah, I think that this conversation can be cured by only one thing, Tim, and that's a factoid of the day. Brought to you by decrypted.tax. Guys, if you have not gone over to decrypted.tax, go over there today to set up your free 30 to 60-minute consultation with Ernest, and you can get that 25% off all pro tax services there at decrypted.tax. Go over there and sign up today. Link is in the description. Tell them that the Investing Bros sent you. When was the founding of the America's favorite band, Nickelback, Tim? 1992, 95, 99,
When
or
was the
2001?
founding of the America's favorite band? Okay, I thought the question was asking, are they America's favorite band? I have no idea. 90. I'm imagining it's the 90s. I would think.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
90. Let's go 90. Let's go 99.
99.
Let's go 99.
All right, he's locking it in. I'll let some other folks. You answered this one quick, so I'll let some other folks trickle in here with their answers. But
Matt says 95. If they were formed in 90, I'm trying to think of when they really hit their. What were the years they hit their mainstream success?
I can't comment on that, Tim.
I already gave my answer. So I'm not.
All right, here we go.
Hyper says 5.
The answer for today's factoid is 1995. You were close, Tim. Yep, Nickelback.
It was my second thought, but
Canadian rock band formed in 1995 in Alberta. Lead singer Chad Kroeger, who was also the quote of the day. Here are the 10 reasons why Nickelback gets so much hate, Tim. The first one is Roadrunner Records signing Nickelback. Supposedly they started. Nobody likes Roadrunners, I guess. The band that challenged Roadrunner Records. I'm not sure. I'm not in the records world. Roadrunner Records was not willing to lose money, so they bought their hit. Okay. Nickelback has not defined a specific genre in rock. Nickelback composed songs according to the genre in fashion. Okay, so they kind of just they sold out a little bit.
These mean nothing to me. Yeah.
Band members lack sufficient talent, in opinion shared by renowned artists, so they did not get good reviews from their peers. They were blamed for the decline of grunge. Okay. Accusations of Chad Kroeger lacking charisma and stage presence.
Accusations? Or I didn't know that was something you just accused.
Accusations. And scientific studies examine Nickelback's hate phenomenon.
Wait, that's a reason?
So there's been scientific University of Eastern Finland has done studies on this. It's kind of an anthropological study. Repetitive themes in their songs, Tim, is something. And then
that
number 10
defines almost every musician ever.
Accusations of commercial mediocrity. So I don't know, Tim. What do you think? Do you think they got a fair shake here? And then I'm going to reveal what my thoughts are on Nickelback here as we wrap up the show.
We have some Q&A. Unless you have to run. Do you have an important meeting?
I do not.
Okay. Well, I think we'll run until about.
We're camped out. We're good. Stay with us.
I do not buy the FUD on Nickelback. Again, are they my favorite band? No, they're not my favorite band. When was the last time I listened to them? Probably a long time ago. But are they that bad? Do they deserve the hatred they get? No. The answer is no. But what do you think, T-Jim? I'm very interested. Are you a Nickelback fan or are you a hater?
Tim, I listen to Nickelback pretty regularly. As a meme, as a band, I'm on board with the hate.
Yeah.
But from a just wanting to put something on that's kind of like something I know, something that's familiar, I'll put on some Nickelback and kind of jam out to it, And if that makes me a bad guy, then so be it. I'm sorry, America. I'm sorry, Canada. But here we are. Again, the meme, the cultural moment of hating Nickelback, I can get behind it because they have far to fall, right? They're very wealthy men. They've made some money on record sales, but at the end of the day, I recognize that they aren't doing anything special in the rock or grunge space, but they've put some catchy melodies together, and anyway, there you go.
Let's see here. Yeah, Matt C says he'll challenge me to a hair contest. You can't win a hair contest with Matt C. I'm not going to give away his age, but I will put this. I don't know if there's many humans in this world that have the same number as high of a number of age as Matt C with as great a head of hair. So Matt C, you win that contest, hands down. Here's a good question I don't know the answer to. This is a good crypto question. I scrolled past it. There we go. Drew P. And I'm interested, chat, if you know the answer to this. In fact, we might know some people in our community might know the answer to this if we go into our Discord with this. But he said, anyone know a trusted DeFi wallet that will send crypto through Bluetooth or NFC without the internet when the grid goes down? I do not know the answer to that question.
Yeah, that's not going to be a question I know the answer to either.
It's not my purview.
My guess is that if the grid goes down, you're going to want to have your crypto on a cold wallet, but you're probably not going to want to bring that cold wallet to anybody's attention that it exists until the grid is back up and operational. But guys, here's something I'll say about the grid, okay? Don't be overcome with fear. Do not make decisions based on extreme outlier situations. If the grid goes down, just going to be honest with you, if the grid goes down in the United States, North America, depending on how long it's out, money is not going to be the thing to worry about. It's going to be bullets and water, right? Just being honest with you. Now, if it goes off and then comes back on in like 24 hours, like that's different. But if we're seeing 3-4 weeks of no power and no internet, things have gone quite a bit south. And I pray that does not happen in North America or anywhere. So that's my thoughts. You're not going to be worried about your crypto 5 months into a grid shutdown.
Yeah.
And the other thing too of why that's not going to happen, here's two things you can't hold in your head at the same time. Thinking that is a possibility, like greater than a 1% possibility this year, and also thinking that the global elites run the world. You can't believe those two things at the same time, because if the global elites run the world, why would they ever put their customer of goods and services at risk at that level, right? Now you might say, well, we just had a pandemic where a bunch of people died. Yeah, a bunch of people died, but not the next generation of consumers, right? And there's also, it's not necessarily pinpointed that was coordinated and planned. Whereas a grid shutdown could potentially be planned. Now, you could also say, well, what about if the Chinese did it? It had nothing to do with global elites. That would be something else. But then you're like, well, America has every incentive to fix that problem. And we saw an outage this week with AT&T, and that snapped right back on, right? So that's my thoughts on that. Don't be overcome with fear. Always fight against those kind of tendencies to put on that tinfoil hat and go deep into that. Be prepared. Have a plan with your family. Yeah. But honestly, if you don't have like a bug out bag, a stockpile of ammunition and water, that's the first step. Not trying to figure out your money stuff in those moments.
Yeah. Very, very true, teacher. We had a couple interesting chats here. Lunar Beaches Crypto said, breaking news, grid goes down, McDonald's ice cream machines still don't work. Now, I would say it'd actually be funnier if the grid goes down and all of a sudden the ice cream machine did work. Would be ironic and make a lot more sense. Shannon Fowler also coming in with some roasts here for both myself and you, T-Shroom. T-Shroom, you look like you turn on Backstreet Boys and rap every other word. Okay. They're not a rap group, but
now I appreciate that, because for 15 years that has been the exact vibe I've been going for, and no one has caught on until now.
And no one's got it. Yeah. He said Tim looks like he listens. Okay. Tim looks like he listens. He eats Cheese Whiz and Wonder Bread sandwiches.
Some lot of creativity in the chat today.
There we go. Got some Shannon Burns here. Goodness gracious. We'll go about 10 more minutes. Let's continue the Q&A. It's Saturday. Love the engagement, the community with you guys. We did get some people come in here late. We talked about it a little bit in the beginning, JT, but JT asked, what are you guys' thoughts about the fight last night? And pretty much what you just said, a French Toaster and JT said, I agree 100%. I think, honestly, after watching all of the IFC, I walked away saying Crow is a bad dude. Like, that dude scares the crap out of me. I would never want to fight him in a million years. I'm very terrified of him. Everybody else, there were some talent. I'll be honest, when I first saw this fight set up, my fear was, I was like, oh no, a bunch of crypto guys who are not athletic are going to get in there and look crazy. There were 2 fights that I was like, okay, that's what I expected. But those 3 middle ones, T-Shirt, you didn't watch it, but the 3 middle fights showcase skill, power, and all 3 of them ended in knockouts. Well, no, I guess one of them was no contest. But what's his name? Adam, what's his face? You guys know he did very, very well. I know his thing ended in no contest because I think he accidentally gouged his eye with a finger, but I thought he was going to win the fight anyway against NFT Kid. I'd never heard of NFT Kid. NFT Kid looks like a legitimate fighter, and it turns like he is a legitimate fighter. Like he actually has done some fighting, but Adam, I'm blanking on his last name, did very, very well. The littler guys were good too. Phil and Dreamer. That was a good fight. Some
was
good
Crypto
skills.
Seth in the mix at all?
So Crypto Seth was supposed to fight it. I think his fight, Piper, maybe you know this, his fight got canceled. His fight got, like, there were several people, like Rodney from My Crypto Journey was supposed to fight Crypto Keeper, but then Crypto Keeper broke a rib, so their fight got canceled. I'm sure that's one, though, that they might renew. Again, I think my biggest takeaway, I thought it would be, I didn't know what to expect. My first thought was like, this could get cringe, but honestly, I think it was a success enough. I'll be very surprised if George doesn't have a second round of this. I think that the Karate Combat liked it. I think that the fans were engaged. If you're on their YouTube channel, the concurrent viewers dropped off after the real fights, but then as the fights were going, started picking back up. And of course, there's probably a lot of crypto people, but I'm pretty sure that, like, I think a lot of fighters were actually interested watching, like, these guys who clearly were not as talented as professional fighters, but giving it a lot. Like, they literally were. I mean, not a single fighter went into that ring and didn't try their hardest. That's what I will give every single one of the 10 fighters.
Yeah.
The first, French Toast said some of it was cringe. The first fight, and no, again, no disrespect. The fact that you stepped into a ring to throw hands, and those guys are big guys. I mean, one of them was 240, one was 220. No disrespect to Crypto Grady, he was not ready. I don't think he'd taken coaching. That was my. He just looked like a big individual who had gotten to a bar fight and was just throwing himself around. But other than that, I mean, even the Ben fight, I'll give this. I don't even know who the other guy is. He was just smaller, but Ben tried hard. I mean, you can say whatever you want about Ben Armstrong. You can think positively, negatively, whatever you want. He trained hard. I'll give it to him on that. He fought hard, and he won. I think he deserved to win. I don't think it was a rigged fight. I think it was a fair fight. I think I'd like to see him go against someone bigger. Like he chose a very small fighter. I'd like to see. It's all whenever you have different weights in a fight. There's always kind of like an asterisk of like, well, this isn't really fair. You need to fight someone who's at least within 10 pounds of you to be a fair fight. Tim, can you pull up the Jasmine chart for the peeps? They are begging you. Yeah, let's pull up Jasmine. Let's look up Jasmine. What is the ticker for Jasmine? Yeah, okay, Jasmine.
Yeah.
What do you think? What's your thoughts, T-Shirt?
I was just going to say, fundamentally, I've heard very mixed reviews on Jasmine. Some people love it. Some people hate it. So just keep that in mind.
Dude, it definitely still, move the upside. It's kind of corrected after the explosiveness we had here a couple days ago. We mentioned it yesterday, I do believe, which, by the way, hold on. Sorry. Super chat. We were going on there. Virginia Man said, subscribe today. Love the live stream. I've been stacking my bags last 2 years with my backbone, cryptos like ETH, Bitcoin, etc. Now I'm working on my degen plays. Did the same in 2019, 2021. Awesome. Virginia Man, so glad to have you here. So glad that you're part of the channel. Look forward to seeing your name in chat a lot more often. Lunar Beach Crypto said Tim versus random XRP shiller. That's funny. I was going to ask that. Even though I don't think T-Shroom and I are going to do it, put in chat, put a fight you would want to see T-Shroom versus who, and Tim versus who. I'm interested to see what you guys think a good fight would be. Back to the Jasmine chart, though, here, T-Shroom. Where we beat those levels we had back here in May of 2022. We still have the March 22 highs up here at about almost 5 cents that are going to be interesting. Let's take a look at a couple more. Oh, is there an older chart than this? Is KuCoin older? Does that go back further? November 21. What was Binance's? Yeah, it's slightly older to go KuCoin. All right, we're gonna go KuCoin, but I wish I just had more price action to look at. We'll run with this one though. Let's go the high here down to the low. Let's look at Fibonacci and see what it's doing. Not even close. So that's not helpful. Let's look here at this one right here. Let's go to the high of March of 2022 and see what we got going on. Down to these lows. Yeah, not necessarily going to see a lot there either. All right, let's get some code. Let's look at fixed range volume. This is not being very helpful for this traditional TA. Ran into the value area high if you're looking at all the price action we have had on the chart. So that's something that's interesting. Let's turn on Lux Algo, see what Lux Algo is saying to us. On the daily chart, massively above that red wave. We are getting some momentum stopped there. This is also something I'll always keep an eye on. Money flow moving sideways, but volume. I'll take these down for a second. That volume, especially the big blue one. Let's turn the candle colors off. That to me does look like a pretty strong reversal volume candle. T-Shroom, what is the most excited you can sound? Okay, there we go. That does look like strong reversal to me right there. Very small candle, very, very big volume histogram. How far do we correct is a good question. Let's see what Fibonacci would look like from there. And then we'll look at Lux levels as well. Golden Pocket's going to come in at 0.9 cents. Daily chart, though, is saying more of like we might see a more bounce because that's the red, though. Oh, man, we could go a lot lower. Yeah, we have 0.5 cents for the closest order block. What's the 4 hour saying for order block?
Yeah, this thing is so overbought. Goodness gracious.
0.5. Yeah, it's massively overbought, but look, it's pumping here on the 4 hour chart. We just printed at 4. All right, I think you're going to get another bounce back up probably close to this area again because we're printing that one. The 4 hour chart, the money flow was bearish on the 4 hour chart. We are about to cross back above that bearish threshold.
That MACD's
we had our
too.
green reversal. So do not be surprised to see Jasmine do like a double top. I'd be surprised if it goes back above it. It could because, we're kind of in uncharted territory at the moment with how explosive it is. But I'm going to say I would not be surprised to see a retouch of 1.8 cents for Jasmine. But on that daily chart, still seeing, I think a decent correction, possibly back down to Golden Pocket at 0.9 cents could get interested. Let's go over here and look at answers. T-Shroom, you're chuckling, so I'm assuming something in chat is amusing.
Well, the super chat from Big Shan Fowler. He said, T-Shroom, what is the most excited you can sound? Is that what that sounds like? Just get excited about something?
Yeah, so you're going to respond. I'm going to say something, and you're going to act like I'm awarding you with $5 billion. What's the most excited you can sound? T-Shroom, your mom called, and you're her favorite child.
Oh my gosh, Tim. I can't believe this. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm so excited, Tim. Yes.
There we go.
I turned down the volume for you all because I can't move my face away from the microphone.
Goodness gracious. All right, here, let's see some of the names here. Let's go through these. I did like Lunar Beaches Crypto, Tim versus Random XRP Schiller was amusing to me.
That's pretty good.
Let's see right here.
Tim, T-Shroom versus Gary Gensler. The fight of the century.
Versus Gary Gensler, that'd be good. I see a couple Tim versus Bit Boys. Here's what I'll say. Like, that would not be a fair, it just wouldn't be a fair fight. Like, me versus Ben, I massively outweigh him. I'm a lot younger than him.
Uh-oh.
Some people might find that amusing to watch, but it wouldn't be entertaining. It would go exactly how you think it would go. T-Shroom versus Crow.
The fight. Oh, versus Crow?
Well, you're skipping ahead.
I'm tapping out.
Yeah,
as soon as he moves, I'm just hitting the ground immediately.
What I would advise, if you fought Crow, you should just see if you could make it and survive all the rounds by running in a circle and just staying as far away from him as possible. That's my tactic.
And then just see if I can get a temple punch. Is that legal to try and knock out? Yeah, it's got to be. Can you do knockouts in karate?
Oh, absolutely. But you are not going to get anywhere close to Crow, T-Shroom. Do not try to win the fight. Try to survive the fight. That's
just
what I'm saying.
Juke him out. Just make him dizzy. Run around him like the final boss in Mario.
When we're done here, see if you can find the highlights. Crow is a scary.
Yeah, no, he would have his way with me, unfortunately.
I like this one. Dlee Crypto, T-Shroom versus Dave Ramsey.
Oh,
which one of you will do better than you deserve?
I'll tell you what, Tim. Well, how much does he weigh? Okay. Well, how tall is he? All right. What's his passion? What drives him? What's his motivation? All right. Okay. Is he in debt? How much does he owe the government? What tax bracket is he in?
Okay, let's see. What is some other? Let's see some other good ones here. Yeah, Tim versus Brian Jung. Do I know Brian Jung? Why does that name sound familiar?
Brian Jung. Is that the guy from Marvel? The Marvel?
No, he's another influencer. He's another influencer. Yeah, I think I'd win. Again, Crow scares the crap out of me. I don't know if anyone I'm scared of. I mean,
I think we just got a dislike for not knowing who Brian Jung is. Sorry, guys. Oh, he's got a lot of followers, 1.6.
He's got a lot of followers, but he's just not in like, I don't know. He's not in the world of like, he doesn't do
his
a bunch
thumbnails.
of collaborations. Yeah.
I see his thumb. He's a credit card guy though too. He does like credit card reviews and stuff. So he's all over the finance scene.
He's been around for a while, and he did stuff before crypto. I saw T-Shroom versus AJ. I don't know if would
that be fair? I was gonna say something.
I think he's a little taller than you, but I think that you might be a little more athletic. I mean, he's a bike. AJ's a biker, so I don't know. Like that's like a deceiving athleticism.
He's gonna have a lot of stamina though.
Yeah, he doesn't have to run and jump to be a professional biker, like a motorcycle. He does like motocross stuff, but you have to be in good shape and you have to be strong and very coordinated to work with the bike, especially when it's in the air. So I honestly don't know. I don't know if I had to put money on a T-Shroom versus AJ fight. I don't know what I would.
Do you think? Here's the real question. Well, first of all, for everybody who's never really seen Tim in person, Tim is a big dude. Like,
yes,
I wouldn't want to fight him in like if he was angry at me and wanted to fight me, running would be my first option. Okay, if it was just a wrestle, I would not expect to have any kind of like positive outcome. It would just be a wrestle. Just so people are getting an understanding. Because I mean, we look roughly similar in these camera angles, but it's all engineered to look the same. Really, what Tim looks like is this. That's Tim's actual size, but we have to bring it down.
Again, if you ever have met me in person, if you haven't met me in person, picture a bowling ball. Like I am a bowling ball. I'm no small guy. I'm 5'11". I think at the moment 290 pounds. Mm-hmm. I need to burn some fat, but I got some muscles on me. I can throw myself around.
Here, I'll show everybody. There is a picture that I think illustrates Tim pretty well.
Tim versus Jason. There we go. That's actually a dead smack image of me. Tim versus Jason Kelsey. Jason Kelsey's going to win that one, but that's also because I would just be in awe looking at one of my favorite football players. Let's see. There was some. Yeah, I would lose Jason Kelsey. He's also literally just retired from being a professional athlete. He's in way better shape than I am. Shroom versus Lifer or Tim versus Lifer. I think I've never met Lifer in person. I've heard that
I've met him in person.
You have? He's about your height, right? He's
like an
average.
Right? He's like an average size, maybe slightly above average size guy.
He's one of those people's hard. If I've never met him, but if you told me he was like 6'3", I could believe that. But I've heard he's not. Like he's normal height.
Like I said, he's like maybe an inch or two taller than me, or just taller. I just when I was with him, he was leaning against a poker table, so I don't remember exactly how tall he was. But it's
T-Shroom versus Tom Crown, you would take that one. T-Shroom would beat Tom Crown. Tom Crown's not very big.
Now Shannon's asking the real question here, which is how many T-Shrooms to take down a fully grown silverback gorilla?
Yeah. Okay. So can we also do this? So this is because Shannon and I used to play this game all the time. What we have to also take into consideration is you're a rabid T-Shroom. So like you have one brain, and let's say there's 10 of you. Not like you're all willing to die. Like we're not talking about fear-filled T-Shrooms.
Sure.
We're talking about like the full-blown strength, not scared of death. How many T-Shrooms to kill one silverback gorilla?
To kill, like, I mean, if it was like do or die, maybe just two, one to fully subdue.
Not even close. Here's what you got to think about. He will grab at least one of you and use you as a weapon.
That's true. That was not something I was considering.
Yeah.
Man, look at this thing, dude. I'm trying to find one that's like to scale, But
this is a great. I'm having a lot of fun. This is going to be terrible for retention because people are going to start dropping off. But these are the conversations that really matter to wrap up today's Saturday special edition show. If you guys want to leave, you guys are more than happy and welcome to leave. Thank you so much for being here. Smash the like button on your way out. If you enjoy these conversations, though, we might continue on for a couple.
Well, at the end of this conversation, we're going to reveal our top 5 best performing coins.
We have to announce the winner. We have to announce the winner of the giveaway too. Is the other thing we have to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to stick around for a little bit more.
Oh, here you go. Here's the real question right here, Tim.
Okay.
Silverback gorilla versus grizzly bear.
Grizzly bear. I actually have seen these where grizzly bear would win this fight. Grizzly bears are going to win most fights that they enter into.
Pretty quick answer. All right, Tim, we got to announce our giveaway here. We got to announce our giveaway for all the folks who stuck around. I
got to get my hat and I put the names in the hat. And I got to shake it up.
Shake it up.
Tim versus Brad Garlinghouse. Not even close. Brad ain't got nothing on me. All right. T-Shroom, I'm going to pick the winner. I'm shuffling in the hat in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I have the card. And the winner is Eric Wallen, the winner of $50. Is that his second win?
Yeah, I think he's won. I think he won last time.
What a guy.
Yeah.
What a guy. Now, to be fair, we only had a handful of participants. So, again, Eric Wallen is the winner this week of our $50 trade we made yesterday. Make sure you guys submit every single week. You have a good chance to win. We're going to continue that on. Again, the rules, if you're wondering what it is not looking at pictures of gorillas, but future reference. Make sure you're watching the Friday show to see what's going on. Participate. Help us make killer trades. By the way, we're 4 for 4 on our community trade, so not doing too bad. But make sure you're signed up with our Blofin link down in the description. Join our free Discord in the description. Make sure you post a photo on either Friday night or Saturday morning in the general chat with your UID, and the winners will be announced. Thug Nasty said it was rigged. Crypto Dave said it's rigged. Well, to be fair, neither of you entered to win. You got to get over into our Discord and put your names. I'll put it here, guys. Look at this. Look at my screen here. I'll show you guys. We only had, so Blackie Chan is entered here. Eric Wallen entered. Bedridden's entered. 8 8. There's only 4 applications. So look at that. You got a 1 in 4 chance this week of winning. Next week, is it going to be 1 in 4? Going to be 1 in 10? What's it going to look like? You got to get entered, and you could be the lucky winner of our next big trade giveaway. Oh, there we go. Boom. Boom.
It's a Nickelback theme show, Tim. Oh.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. I didn't know. Oh, boy. We're having fun.
We should probably stop watching memes.
We're having fun.
Where we test them out. That's fun. Okay. Let's see. Before we wrap it up, anything else you guys want to do? This has been a very fun show. The last 20 minutes have probably not been that productive, but they have been very fun. And that's what really matters.
I apologize. We are an equal opportunity channel here. We do not discriminate. Anybody's love is love.
Okay. Chris said, I saw this last night. The baddest man to ever live. Look up the unkillable soldier. His Wikipedia, Adrian something is great. Don't show it. The baddest man to ever live. Look up unkillable soldier. So we've learned, especially from Frankie Candles, you don't play things you haven't seen before on live stream.
Looks like it's a song.
Is it a song?
Swedish heavy metal band Sabaton on their album.
Well, we're going to have to play it. We're going to have to clear it first and maybe play it on a different. Well, also, you can't play songs because then you have copyright issues. But we'll take a listen to it, Chris. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the. As we're about to wrap it up, we have 130 people watching. Thug Nest said, you guys take care. Thanks for the laughs. It was a fun day. Thank you guys for the comments that make all of us laugh. With that said, though, it is going to wrap up today's live stream. Thank you so much, every single one of you, for joining us, being here with us on the weekend. Go relax, have some fun with your friends and family, and we will see you guys on Monday morning. Adios.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.
Investing
Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms News got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper. Turn that better to cake. Money like Lego. Connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros.
Investing bros.
We are investing bros.
Investing